Prior to being here at Make Way for Books, I was a teacher, and my first teaching assignment was as a kindergarten teacher. And I had a child arrive not knowing how to even hold a book. And so it absolutely does matter, because those kids that arrive at kindergarten, if they start behind, they stay behind. That's what all the research shows. And I saw it with firsthand. And so that's why I'm really passionate about early literacy, because the research says, but I know because I've seen it, that it's the most important stage of literacy development. When kids learn rhyming words, it's kind of it's almost like a life preserver kind of thing. Like they have that in their back pocket because they can hear similar patterns and sounds. Because there are so many exceptions in the English language, they have to have that kind of under their belt so they can quickly get the words that, that have a pattern and recognize that pattern.
But, I remember when our kids were little, I could swear he knew what I was saying as a baby. I could swear Hal knew he knew what I was saying, but he couldn't communicate it back to me. Was that just my imagination, or was he really processing?
Right, his brain was firing away and processing absolutely everything. Not only your words, but babies when they're born, they have their brains are so malleable, they can learn any language. Like when they're first born, they're wired to learn any language. But so your son was hearing you speak English or another, maybe Spanish, and so he was connecting everything you're saying with objects or just the tone of your voice that was teaching him about his world. You're essentially, right from the very start, you're giving him the tools to understand his world, and he gets it. Well, we have a full menu of what we call preschool and family programs. So one way we try to reach children and their parents is by reaching children in formal childcare. And so we serve, or we have served in our history, more than 150 childcare centers with books. We provide them with books for their classrooms, but also lending libraries. So because like we said, our goal is to reach children that don't have books in their home. And so by providing a childcare center with a lending library and this opportunity for children to check out books and have books in their home that wouldn't have the opportunity to have those books. So, that's, we also provide consulting to teachers at these same centers to make sure that literacy is an important part of the children's day. We have wonderful volunteers go and read to children every week at child care centers. And then through our family literacy programs, we try to reach children who are not enrolled in formal child care. And so there are a variety of programs there that really try to educate parents on how to be their child's first best teacher. So we're all about empowering parents, kind of helping them understand what they can do to ensure that their child is on the path to success. For babies, we recommend cloth books. So because we want the baby to touch the book and be a part of the book, put the book in their mouth. A cloth book is comforting. And for toddlers as well as babies, we go for board books because they're sturdy. Young children are going to be hard on books, but that's the idea, is you want to expose them to books and get them turning pages. You want to get them handling books, because just having a book and handling it gives them a sense of how books work, and that can start from infancy. So when that child eventually gets to kindergarten, they know how books work. They've already absorbed all these skills, what we call pre-reading skills, just by having appropriate books. And so for a preschooler, it's great stories. Like you think about when you were growing up, it's stories that inspire, stories that are funny, that are silly, stories that where children can see themselves in. So it's great books, great stories. So which would be appropriate for all children. I mean, we know, like books change lives, right? Yes. And especially young lives. And we know here how powerful books can be. And so to bring the community together around a certain book would be, I think, wonderful in the sense, that you're providing this opportunity to come together and talk about a story that, that would be a loving story, or, so people could react to the book in different ways and make connections to the book and to each other. So, and just see how fun it is to share books and talk about them. No, it has been done. And I know it's been done across the country for many different age levels. It's also been done at the early childhood level in a few states around the country. And I think for Arizona in particular, it's very important because we know, I think we just read the statistic that 68% of children are actually not enrolled in preschool or any kind of formal childcare. And so to get people thinking about, who are not going to preschool before they get to kindergarten, like, here's this great book, here's a book, let's read it together, let's get families, interested and excited about reading together, because they're not getting that kind of formal education prior to getting to kindergarten.
Wow.
What the research says is that, unfortunately, if a child is behind in 4th grade, and in our state, nearly 3 out of every 4 4th graders are behind currently, and I hope that will change. But once a child is behind in 4th grade, it becomes very difficult to ever catch up. And so these are the children that most likely will drop out of high school, and it's all tied to reading, and giving children that start from the beginning is absolutely the best investment that a community could make, because you're ensuring that they're getting it from the start. And wouldn't that be amazing if we lived in a community that supported that, that tried to give every child that chance to stop and achieve, to not even have an achievement gap. I mean, and that's what we're about here, is trying to ensure that there is no gap, or at least give kids the leg up. The kids that are coming from underserved areas, help them get there, just as much as, children in other parts of our community that have the parents that are reading to them and know what to do, essentially. And we encourage, with all of our programs, we encourage families to get library cards, to use that resource, because, like I said, we serve a lot of families that might not have that extra money to go and fill their homes with books. So in addition to, part of our education of parents and even early childhood professionals is to make sure that the children in their care are getting that opportunity and are being encouraged to visit the library. So when we partner with the library with a number of programs, you're going to grant my wish.
I'm going to grant your wish.
That we would give every child in Tucson a book, more than one book. We would give them a book every month.
Where do I help? How do I help out there?
Yeah, okay, first, this might sound a little corny, but I think I want to change my wish.
Okay.
My wish would be, and we've touched on this a little bit, but just if every parent sat down every night and just really, with full presence, like not, the phones are away, the TV's off, with full presence, sat down and shared a story with their child. So, and then they get that sense of, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is important to our family. This is important to me. It's important to my child. And then spread that wish. And so, first of all, it has to do with awareness and really believing in that power of books. And seeing how important early literacy is, and then I think the community, again, let's communicate how important literacy and early childhood education is to our state. I mean, to the people that we're electing, because we need to improve education here in Arizona. And I think one way to start is by giving our kids the great start from the beginning, and that happens in early childhood.